Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a concept that's absolutely foundational to any job site, but, it's one that often gets tangled up in hesitation and just general misunderstandings. We're looking at the universal right to stop unsafe work. Now, this isn't just a basic review of safety compliance. No, this is an empowering look into how taking real ownership of safety prevents devastating consequences literally across the board. So whether you're a worker, a supervisor, a sub, or sitting in management, this applies directly to you. We're going to break down what this authority truly means, how to spot the moments that demand action, and how shifting our whole mindset can transform a work environment from one of fear to one of absolute protection.
So what actually happens when you see danger and just walk away? I want you to imagine this scenario. You're walking across a super busy project area, right? And you notice something that just kind of doesn't look right. Maybe it's a teammate taking a sketchy shortcut, or some heavy equipment being used totally improperly. Now, the immediate temptation might be to just keep your head down, assume someone else is going to handle it, and keep walking. I mean, we've all felt that hesitation, right? Nobody wants to rock the boat or slow things down. But if you walk away and that hazard actually turns into a disaster, what are you left with? You're left with this heavy, haunting burden of regret. That quiet little voice in your head saying, "Man, I saw that. I could have stopped it." Well, today we're going to explore how to make sure you never, ever have to carry that burden.
Overcoming that completely natural psychological urge to just walk away is literally the only proven way to prevent 4 really critical failures. First, obviously, preventing physical injury to yourself or your crew. I mean, a split-second intervention can literally be the difference between someone going home to their family or ending up in the hospital. Second, preventing costly property damage. Ignoring a hazard today could mean a completely wrecked site tomorrow. Third, preventing massive project delays that always follow an incident. We usually ignore safety because we're in a rush, but an accident, that stops the clock entirely. And finally, preventing that future regret we just talked about. Stepping up and speaking out is the single best barrier against all of these outcomes.
All right, moving to Section 2, Stop Work Authority, the ultimate tool.
Okay, so here's the formal definition. Stop work authority is the right and responsibility of every worker to stop work when they see immediate danger. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand that this isn't just some generic corporate policy buried in the back of a handbook. It is an unalienable right. And hey, notice that it's also a responsibility. It applies to absolutely everyone on the site, totally regardless of their title, their seniority, or their position. Think about a brand new apprentice on their very first week. They might naturally feel pretty intimidated at the thought of stopping a senior site manager who's doing something risky. But this authority legally and morally protects that apprentice to do exactly that. The newest worker on site has the exact same authority to halt an operation as the veteran superintendent if they spot immediate danger.
There's a core philosophy behind this authority, and it's this: no work is so urgent that it cannot be stopped. On a busy site, deadlines just loom large, don't they? There's always this pressure to push forward, stay on schedule, get the job done yesterday. You can almost feel the tension in the air when a major milestone is coming up. But this principle cuts right through all that pressure. It dictates that no project deadline, no financial target, and no perceived urgency ever outweighs the necessity of stopping an unsafe act or an unsafe condition. The schedule can wait. Safety literally cannot. Look, when we elevate urgency over safety, we're basically just inviting catastrophe. By embracing this core truth, you empower yourself to pull the emergency brake, knowing for a fact you're doing the right thing.
Section 3. Spotting the danger. When to intervene.
Okay, so we know we have the authority, but what exactly are we looking for out there? Let's take a quick mental walk through the site and visualize these moments of choice. Imagine spotting a missing permit or unclear work instructions. That's not just a boring paperwork issue, it's a huge blind spot where nobody knows the true risks. What about an unsafe lifting activity? An unsecured load dangling over everyone's heads isn't a minor mistake. That is gravity just waiting to strike. Then there's working at height. If someone's up on a scaffold without proper fall protection, stop everything immediately. You might see exposed electrical cables in a damp spot, or traffic and plant movement risks where people and heavy machinery are crossing paths in a dangerous way. Picture an unauthorized person wandering into a restricted zone. They have no idea what dangers are around them. Or even just poor housekeeping, right? Scattered debris creating severe slip, trip, or fall risks. And finally, weather conditions. If a sudden storm rolls in with lightning or high winds, the environment shifts from safe to deadly in a matter of minutes. Each one of these scenarios is a moment where your intervention is absolutely required.
On to Section 4. Taking action. The 5 steps.
Now, having a concrete roadmap takes the paralysis out of the moment. You've spotted the hazard, so here is your exact action plan. Step 1. Stop the activity safely. Don't create a new hazard by screaming or causing a panic. Just calmly halt the operation in a controlled way. Step 2. Inform the supervisor or the safety team immediately. Bring leadership in so they know what to pause. Step 3 is incredibly important. Discuss the hazard. This is a collaborative effort, guys, not a confrontation. Just clearly explain what you saw and why it triggered the stop. It's a great chance to get everybody on the same page. Step 4. Agree on corrective action. Work together as a team to figure out exactly how to fix the problem. And finally, Step 5, which is absolutely vital, resume only after the risk is controlled. You do not start the machinery or pick up those tools again until that agreed-upon fix is fully in place. These 5 steps just take all the emotion and guesswork right out of the process.
Section 5. Shifting the culture. Zero blame. All right, we got to address the elephant in the room. The absolute biggest reason people don't use their authority is the fear of retaliation. People are just terrified of getting themselves or someone else in trouble. To fix this, we have to fundamentally move away from the outdated blame culture. That toxic mindset that focuses entirely on pointing fingers, finding fault, and punishing people. Because when people fear punishment, what do? They hide mistakes. That culture breeds silence, and silence breeds accidents. Instead, we have to embrace a protection culture. This focuses exclusively on what we talked about earlier, preventing injury, damage, delay, and regret. Stop work authority is not about blaming people or getting your coworkers reprimanded. Not at all. It is solely about protection. When you stop work, you are actively participating in a protection culture.
And that leads us to a really powerful realization. A worker who stops unsafe work is actually protecting the project. I really want you to internalize this concept. Speaking up and stopping a dangerous act doesn't make you a troublemaker, it doesn't make you a complainer, and it certainly doesn't make you an annoyance. Actually, scratch that. It makes you a heroic protector. You are protecting your colleagues' lives, you are protecting the expensive equipment, you are protecting the timeline, and ultimately, the entire project's success. Every single voice on a site has the power to save lives, and making that intervention is the ultimate act of project protection. It literally transforms you from a passive bystander into an active guardian of your team. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought from the source material. Tomorrow, if you see something unsafe, do not just observe and walk away. Stop, speak up, and escalate. One intervention may save a life. The authority is yours, but hey, the choice is yours too. Tomorrow, when you step onto your site and spot a hazard, are you going to choose the silence of a blame culture, or will you be the one whose voice saves a life? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Catch you next time.